Love blinded her so much that she didn't know whether her love was a traitor or the most loyal secret agent. A question the answer of which was about to haunt her. Welcome back to Paramount Recapped. I don't have many subscribers, but your single comment is a ray of hope to motivate me. The movie starts with Roy Miller strolling through Wichita Airport, where he notices that a flight to Boston has been delayed. Meanwhile, June Havens, a woman with a heavy carry-on, approaches the check-in counter and asks if she can be placed on an earlier flight. Roy, who has been quietly observing her, bumps into her a few times during the airport security process. June, a vintage car mechanic, explains to the security officer that her bag contains parts for her sister's wedding gift, a 1966 Pontiac GTO she's restoring. Despite having a confirmed seat, June is informed at the gate that the flight is overbooked. Roy, on the other hand, secures a spot on the flight and offers her some words of wisdom, suggesting that things happen for a reason. What June doesn't realize is that a CIA agent named Fitzgerald is watching Roy closely and talking with his superiors about a mysterious object called the Zephyr. Fitzgerald notices Roy's interactions with June via airport security cameras, piquing his interest. He debates sending agents to intercept June in Wichita, but decides to take a different approach. Shortly afterward, the gate agent informs June that a seat has suddenly opened up, allowing her to board the flight. Roy, seeing this, knows Fitzgerald is behind the change. On board, June observes that there are only a few other passengers and starts to relax with a drink. She and Roy strike up a conversation, where she shares her dream of driving her restored car all the way to Cape Horn. Roy, however, seems distracted, keeping a close watch on the other passengers. He shares a somber thought, telling her that someday often means never. June is drawn to his mysterious demeanor, but her drink spills when the plane hits turbulence. She heads to the restroom to clean up. While she's away, chaos erupts as the other passengers and crew members suddenly attack Roy. A fierce battle breaks out, with even the pilots turning on him and demanding the location of the Zephyr. Roy fights them all off, questioning why Fitzgerald orchestrated June's presence on the flight. When June returns from the restroom, she finds Roy calmly holding 2 drinks. She kisses him, but Roy shockingly tells her that everyone on the plane is dead. At first, she thinks he's joking, but the turbulence sends the lifeless bodies flying through the cabin, proving his words. Despite the chaos, Roy manages to crash land the plane on a highway before it skids into a cornfield. He gives June a drink, and she quickly realizes he has drugged her. Before she loses consciousness, Roy warns her that dangerous men will be coming after her. He advises her to act like she doesn't know him and to be wary of certain words like safe, stabilize, and secure because they might be a signal that someone intends to harm her or lock her away. As the plane explodes in the background, June falls unconscious. When she wakes up in her own home, June finds water, aspirin, and breakfast waiting for her, along with post-it notes from Roy, instructing her not to acknowledge him if they meet again. Rushing to prepare for her sister's wedding, she remains unaware that she's being watched. Later that day, she struggles with bridesmaid dresses for her sister April's wedding. As they discuss their father's GTO, June is surprised to learn that April wants to sell the car. While at a shop, a stranger tricks June into leaving by claiming her truck is about to get ticketed. She is then ambushed by Fitzgerald and his agents, who force her into a car. Even though June insists she doesn't know Roy, Fitzgerald shows her airport security footage of them together and reveals that they were on the same flight. He even mentions the name Simon Feck, which June has never heard before. Using the same suspicious words Roy had warned her about, Fitzgerald assures June they will keep her somewhere secure until they contain Roy and ensure she is safe. Roy bursts onto the scene in a wild shootout and high-speed chase, rescuing June from the agents. In the chaos, a terrified June manages to escape and heads to a fire station where her ex-boyfriend Rodney works. She frantically recounts the bizarre events, but Rodney thinks she's just stressed from her sister's wedding. They go out for pie to relax, but Roy soon shows up again, kidnapping June. He shoots Rodney in the leg, non-lethally, and explains that this will make him a hero, maybe even get him a promotion. Roy also mentions that the pie shop's security cameras captured footage that makes it look like June is his hostage, which should help clear her name. Still furious, June accuses Roy of making things worse, saying she felt safer with the agents. Roy brings her to a garage, uncuffs her, and gives her the choice to leave, warning that without his protection, she might not survive long. Reluctantly, she agrees to stay with him, and they team up to find Simon Feck, the inventor of the powerful energy device called the Zephyr. Roy reveals that he was assigned to protect Feck, but when he discovered that rogue Agent Fitzgerald planned to kill Feck, steal the Zephyr, and frame Roy as a traitor, he went on the run. They head to Roy's safe house in New York City, but find no sign of Feck. However, they discover a hidden message within Feck's scattered equations, indicating that he's hiding on a train in Austria, deep in the Alps. Antonio Quintana, a notorious Spanish arms dealer, sends his men to ambush Roy and June, throwing them into chaos. Roy, ever unpredictable, drugs June, leaving her in a groggy state as they are captured and then escape Antonio's men. When June fully wakes up, she finds herself on a secluded island in the Azores, where Roy has a home. Frustrated by Roy's secrecy and the constant danger, June decides to explore on her own. She stumbles upon Roy's phone and sees a satellite image of a man cleaning a 67 Grand Prix at a Boston address, which piques her curiosity. But before she can dig deeper, her sister calls, and the call inadvertently reveals their location to Antonio's men. Great timing. Rushing back to Roy, June's initial smile turns into frustration, and she throws a punch at him. Roy dodges easily, and their sparring turns playful as they roll around on the beach, laughing, momentarily forgetting the danger. Their fun is cut short by the arrival of a drone sent by Antonio to kill them. They flee to Roy's helicopter, but June, terrified of flying, refuses to be knocked out again. Roy, always quick on his feet, uses a gentle pressure point to knock her out, a la Star Trek's Vulcan neck pinch. When she wakes up, she's alone and confused, traveling on a train through the Alps. She finds a message from Roy, directing her to the dining car, where she meets a man named Bernhard, mistakenly thinking he's Simon Feck, the inventor they're looking for. June casually chats with Bernhard, mentioning Roy, but soon senses something off. Checking her boots, she finds another message from Roy warning her that Bernhard isn't who she thinks he is. Panicking, she heads to the kitchen car, where Bernhard corners her and attacks. Luckily, Roy and Feck arrive just in time. A fight breaks out, and June uses a self-defense move Roy taught her to escape Bernhard's grip. Bernhard's fate is grim as he gets impaled on his own knife and then thrown out of the train window. Not exactly a graceful exit. At the next station, rogue CIA agent Fitzgerald inspects the train but finds no trace of Roy, June, or Feck. Spotting a faint mark on the window, he peers through it only to see Roy watching him before disappearing into the crowd, outsmarting him once again. Roy arranges for June and Feck to stay in a Salzburg hotel while he meets a mysterious woman named Naomi. Suspicious, June tails Roy and overhears him trying to sell the Zephyr, a powerful energy device, to Antonio. Soon after, the CIA swoops in and captures June. They bring her to Isabel George, the head of counterintelligence, who accuses Roy of using June to smuggle the Zephyr through airport security. The CIA gives June a pen to signal them if she's with Roy and the Zephyr. When Roy returns to the hotel and shows her the overheating Zephyr, she discreetly alerts the agents. Realizing her betrayal, Roy says an emotional goodbye before escaping in a rooftop chase, where he's shot and falls into a river. Fitzgerald, thinking Roy is dead, closes the case. Back home, June attends her sister's wedding but can't stop thinking about Roy. Afterward, she hears his ringtone on the radio and remembers a Boston address she had seen before. Following her instincts, she goes to the address, finding Roy's childhood home and meeting his parents, who reveal his real name is Matthew Knight. They believe he died in a military helicopter crash, yet they live well thanks to lottery winnings they don't recall. June hatches a plan, leaving a voicemail claiming she has the Zephyr, knowing the CIA will hear it. As expected, Antonio's men capture her and take her to Seville, where they inject her with truth serum. Under its influence, June rambles about Roy's plan to throw off the agents, but Antonio, frustrated by the lack of answers, orders her execution. Meanwhile, Roy tracks Feck using his phone and stages a dramatic rescue. In the chaos, Roy, June, and Feck escape, with their getaway coinciding with the running of the Bulls Festival in Seville. Antonio's attempt to stop Roy fails spectacularly when his car flips and gets trampled by bulls, marking a fitting end for the villain. Roy confronts Fitzgerald at a dock, offering the Zephyr in exchange for Feck. However, Fitzgerald, not one for fair play, shoots Feck. The unstable Zephyr explodes on Fitzgerald's escape plane, killing him instantly. Roy, having taken a bullet for Feck, is severely injured but survives. He He wakes up in a hospital where the CIA tells him June has moved on. But just as Roy is about to be transferred to a secure facility, June, disguised as a nurse, drugs him and orchestrates his escape. They drive off in the restored 66 GTO, heading toward the coast. As they hit the road, it becomes clear they're finally free to live there someday, just as they dream. Meanwhile, Roy's parents receive tickets to Cape Horn, convinced they won yet another sweepstakes, blissfully unaware of their son's latest adventure.